But I think the good news is, starting today, you're going to see, as we've seen in North Dakota, as we saw in Colorado, as we've seen in some other numbers, Utah of late, Ted Cruz has continued to win as people make it clear that it's either Ted Cruz or Donald Trump. Those are the only two left who mathematically can get the 1,237 delegate votes needed to win the nomination. I believe Ted Cruz is going to win here today because people are very well informed, as you well know, here in the state of Wisconsin. That's a big win for Ted because it's in an open caucus. It's in upper Midwest. We're somewhere in between Iowa and Michigan in terms of the makeup of the state of Wisconsin.
Right.
You're going to have nearly record turnout, some of the biggest we've had since 1980. And I believe Ted Cruz is going to win today, and that's going to be the turning point in this election.
Mayor Rudy Giuliani is a big fan of yours, and he says he saw you in action a lot, said this about you earlier, and that you really could be the difference for Ted Cruz right now. Let's listen.
I campaigned with Scott Walker a lot for his election, for his recall, for his election. That's a tremendous machine that he developed. I think Walker gives Cruz 5 or 10%. Huh. You got a primary. You have to give a lot of credit to the machine.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that that's something that you brought into the Cruz camp right away, knowing the state?
Well, I certainly hope that we brought some help in that regard, but I think the real reason he's ahead is because, like I said, voters are informed here. We understand, we've seen it firsthand, what principled conservative leadership means to a state. We understand we want that for our nation. We want the good successes that we've had with the economy, with our finances, with balancing our budget, improving our schools. Those are the things we want in Washington for all the people of this great country. And I think when people look and say Ted Cruz has actually got a plan to do that, that's in contrast to platitudes and some of the attacks that we've seen that just don't go over very well here in the state of Wisconsin. We want people to tell us what they're for, not what they're against. That's why I believe Ted Cruz is going to win here. And certainly if our help assists in that, that's all the better.
So Donald Trump came out a couple of days ago and said, it doesn't surprise me Governor Walker is going for Senator Cruz because I knocked him out in about 2 minutes in the race. Is it personal?
No, not at all. It's personal in the sense that I care about my sons, Matt and Alex. I want them to have the kind of future I inherited and to grow up in the kind of times I did in the 1980s when Ronald Reagan helped turn this country and this world around. That's what I want. So it's for them. It's for my nieces, Isabella and Ella. Personal in terms of candidates, I could care less about what any of the other candidates say. What I care about is their future, and I believe that Ted Cruz offers them the best future going forward.
You know, it's interesting, Governor Walker. I know you look at polls. They help you have success as a politician. A new Quinnipiac poll says overwhelmingly people are voting for Donald Trump because they want someone that's going to go in there and break the rules, do what's right instead of doing what everybody says to go along, to get along. What's your response to that?
Well, I understand completely. You know, we took on the big government special interest here and won in Wisconsin. That's why we won 3 times in a blue state that hadn't gone Republican for president since '84. But if people want that, and I hear that across the state, I hear it across the country, Ted Cruz is the obvious choice. Here's a guy who just a couple years ago was elected to the United States Senate on exactly that principle. He stood up not only against the big-time liberal special interest, at times he actually stood up against his own party, right. Even if it meant standing up by himself. Ted Cruz is the guy who's actually embodies that, and I think that's why he's going to win here in the state of Wisconsin.